I agree with you. So let's get started. We're running a little bit late because we had a very heated discussion over here, but it's all Hashem Shemayim, Baruch Hashem. So
I was just hoping that you would also consider 6,000 years as 6 billion.
I want to tell you something a little bit closer than that, right? A little bit history closer than that. So what we have is, Rabbi, that now Yaakov Avinu calls the tribes in Mitzrayim, right? When he's about to leave this world, he's about to expire, he's about to go. So he tells them, gather up all of you. I want to speak with all the tribes, all the sons. So he tells them, he wants to now reveal to them something amazing, right? He wants to reveal to them how Mashiach is going to come and when he's going to come. He wants to tell them about the redemption of the Jewish people. So what happened was that at that time the Shekhinah was resting on him, the divine presence, and therefore he was able to actually do this. It says, by the way, in the Midrash, that only to two people was revealed when Mashiach is going to come. Only to two people. One was Yaakov Avinu and one was Daniel, right? Daniel also, he was like a prophet, whatever. So it says over there that these two people, it was revealed to them. But what happened was that even though it was revealed, it was taken away. In other words, all of a sudden the information got a little bit gibberish, whatever, got lost. Why is that? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't want that they should reveal this to the other people. So once HaKadosh Baruch Hu saw that Yaakov Avinu was going to reveal the redemption, the time of the Geulah, what he did was he took away the Shekhinah from Yaakov Avinu, he took away the divine presence, and therefore he lost the knowledge. All of a sudden, he went blank, Sometimes it happens, by the way. The person gives like a lecture, he just go blank, It's like, there's nothing on the screen. Empty. It can happen to anybody. It can happen to me also. So, I tell you, so just in case it happens, you should expect, that you never know. Okay, so anyway, that's what happened. He went blank. So, what happened was that all of a sudden now he changed the program, Sometimes you have to change the program. You got to change the disk, Put another one in, right? That's what he did, because he had no choice. This program was already gone. So now he tells them, you know what? Let's forget about that. Let's talk about something else, right? Let's talk about you guys, your performance, how I rate you. Like he gave them ratings over here, right? Each son gets ratings. Ratings and blessings, right? Two the things. By the way, this is something that the Chazal teach us. You should be careful not to do this with your children. What does that mean? To give them all the time ratings, Oh, you're not so good, you're not so smart, you're not so this, you're not so successful. When parents speak like this to their children, it causes them to become dejected, It's a very bad way to treat your children like that. It's not nice, it's very cruel. And it makes them think, by the way, what happens? Children start to think that, I guess my parents really hate me. Yeah. They look down at me like that. So could cause all kinds of reactions. That could be one of them, by the way. That's very true. But, nevertheless, therefore, the Chazal tell us, this is why Yaakov Avinu only did this when he died, the day before he died. Why is that? Because he didn't want them to feel that, my father's always giving us slack, every time. Getting slack from my father all the time. Person just becomes like, what he wants to do? He wants to dissociate himself with the parents, Go live somewhere else, go live in Florida, go live, in LA, change location, leave my parents alone. They don't like me anyway, they don't love me, they don't care about me. So I'll go and move somewhere else. So therefore Yaakov Avinu did the smart thing, which was what? He wanted to criticize them for the mistakes that they made, but he waited till the day he died, right? This way, nobody's going to hold it against him because they know this is like the final admonition before a person leaves the world. So this was considered to be something which works very well. But here also, there was something else, this was not just a rebuke over here. There was also one element of rebuke, as we said, to teach them, listen, what you did over here was very, very wrong. You got to correct that. You got to, straighten it out. That was one thing, but also there was another thing, which was that according to their nature, the nature of the tribes, according to the way they were, their personality, character traits, he gave them also like a certain purpose in life, a certain role. Each tribe has their own role, according to their nature, according to the way they behave, so forth and so on. So, first thing, by the way, he tells them like this, right? He gathers them up. And he says, one question I want to ask you before we start this procedure, right? One thing is like this. Maybe there's somebody here in the room, that doesn't agree with our religion. Maybe you think like there's other gods, there's other religions, Maybe you think that there's other ways of serving God. There's other gods, other this, all kinds of things, all kinds of alternative, religions. He tells them, if that's so, speak up now, because that's not a part of what we are, right? In this family, there's only one God, there's only one religion. There's no other things, right?
That's what he tells us.
The first two commandments, that's what he told them. The first two commandments, what? I am the Lord your God, and thou shalt have no other gods besides me. That's it, right? See, if you have another God, you're not a Jew. That's the way it is. It's either or.
One question.
You cannot have two gods when you're a Jew. There's only one God.
Quick question, very quick.
Yes.
Okay, so what is the meaning of Elohim? Isn't that plural?
Yes, it is plural. The world is plural, but it has, actually, the word Elohim has several connotations. We're going to have to do just a lecture on that, to get into that whole thing. It's quite complicated. Actually, I talked about it here several times, about this word. That sometimes it can also connote, first of all, it can also mean judges. That's also one word, meaning of Elohim. In the Torah, it says Elohim someplace. Over there means judges. So judge is also called Elohim. There's also a person who's like a minister, like a big, very prominent person, also called Elohim. There's also, there are certain angels which are called Elohim also. So this name can be used for many different purposes. Okay, so getting back to what we said, right, that what? Therefore, once the sons heard this admonition, right, from their father, maybe there's somebody here who doesn't agree with our religion. You have some kind of diversion there. So right away they answered, right? What was their answer? All of them, they said like this, right? Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. There's only one God. In other words, they said, don't worry about that. We're not looking for other religions. We're not looking for other gods. We know who the God is. We know there's only one, and He's our God, and that's all there is. There's nothing else. So therefore, right, what the Chazal tell us you should know, that this is the definition of being a Jew. What is the definition of being a Jew? That you believe in one God only, our God. Right? The God who gave us the Torah. If you believe in many gods, you're not a Jew. And by the way, this was something last week, that we discussed with David. Right? He was saying, right, that there's also other religions and all this, but to be honest with you, if a person doesn't believe in one God, that's the only God, he's not a Jew. And if a person, by the way, was born a Jew, let's say, right? He was born Jewish. He was born Jewish. But he became a heretic and he started to believe also in other gods, So that's not, by the way, the Rambam says he's not called a Jew anymore. That's not a Jew. He loses his status as a Jew. You understand? Once you start to believe in other gods, you are not a Jew anymore. So therefore, what does the Rambam say, by the way? A person like this, who was born as a Jew, he studied Torah, and then he started to do idolatry. Or he worshipped other idols, or he worshipped himself, or whatever it is, God knows, right? Whatever it is that he did, he worshipped. A person like that, what does the Rambam say about him, by the way? It's a mitzvah to kill him. To kill him with your own hands. I'm not talking about a court case, by the way, to make a court case. No. With your own hands, strangle him.
That's different than from
understand?
What Muhammad ordered his people to.
Because Muhammad was a meshuggah, he was a lunatic. You understand? We have a tradition from God.
They're bad. We are good.
Yeah, we are good. Yeah, so that's why we were chosen to receive the Torah.
I love the word heresy.
Right. So it's a good word. So what I'm telling you is that the Rambam says that a person who believes in other gods, a heresy, it's a mitzvah to kill him, the person like that. Yeah.
We're not going to do
What about somebody who's born and he didn't study?
What am I telling you? That if you get a chance to let's say the guy's in like a swimming pool, so you should try to drown him right there. Drown him. Drown him there. That's what it says. Yeah.
Get baptized.
Baptized. Yeah. Okay. So that's the way it is, right?
Even if we did that back then, we don't do that now.
Well, we don't do it because we're not in a situation like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're not in that situation. But the truth is, right, that the mitzvah still exists. You know.
They're going to choke you in a minute. Listen, if it's the law of God.
So therefore, this was the reason why Yaakov Avinu asked this question to them. Let's go straight ahead. You believe in one God or not? Are you with us? Are you on the same page with us or not? Otherwise, we have nothing to talk about. You have to leave the family. Go out and do something else. Get out of the picture. So They told him like Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. So that was already affirmed, right? They believe in one God. They believe in Hashem. They believe in our God. So now
So they didn't have to kill anybody there, thank God.
thank God, Baruch Hashem. Yeah, thank God. That's true. So now the next phase comes in, right? That what? Now he goes by brother and gives them ratings, criticism, and blessings. This is what happens, right? This is the next phase. So what happens is like this, right? That now he talks with Reuven, right? Because Reuven was the firstborn. So Reuven is the first one who gets his dose over here, right? Dose, yeah, got a good dose over here. So what does he tell Reuven, right? He says, you know what? You're my firstborn. And because of that, you have a special sanctity. A firstborn has sanctity, you know? So, by the way, he told him also another thing. He said that you shouldn't think, by the way, that you're my firstborn. That's a small thing. You know why? Because he didn't have children until he was 84 years old, Yaakov Avinu. 84 years old. Can you imagine? So, what does that mean? That until that time, say the Chazal, he didn't have one drop of sperm that came out of his body. You know, some kind of wet dream or some kind of, accident. You understand? You know, one drop of sperm didn't come out of his body until that day that he bore his son Reuven. So what does that mean? He's telling him, listen, you were my first strength. The first strength that came out of my body, that was you. I never had any accidents. I never had any incidents, nothing. He was a pure man, very holy man. So he tells him, because of that, you should have been